There have been a series of questions that have popped up again about California's Prop 12. And just for the record, we know California's Prop 12 requires pork producers to increase space for their sows if they want access to the California market. It effectively banned gestation crates, a common enclosure used by the industry to protect sows and piglets during pregnancy and after birth. The premise of this law implies that hog farmers don't want their animals to be healthy and safe. And I would just ask Mrs. DeVermer, do you find that that's the case with the producers that you interact with?
The producers I interact with work closely with their veterinarians and consultants to make the best choices for their farming operation based on their management style. And Prop 12 was not based on any scientific measures. It was a number pulled out of the hat. And once again, we producers in other states had no opportunity to provide feedback, and yet it affects us. So that's part of our concern, is that patchwork and that overregulation on our industry.
So California's law also seems to take an entirely different approach to animal safety than longstanding producer and veterinarian practices. And I wonder if you could confirm if there was any science really put in behind this decision.
No science put behind it, just arbitrarily picked out a number of 24 square feet.
Okay. Well, I understand Prop 12 went into effect just about a year ago, and I wonder if you could take a few moments to talk about the extremely difficult decisions that producers are facing on whether or not they comply with a forced mandate from California or try their best to find another market to sell into, both of which are extremely costly in the process. Can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, producers are, making business decisions whether they should incur costs to comply to Prop 12. And while there may be some premium involved with that, there's no guarantee that premium is going to last for a long period of time. Plus, there's no guarantee that there's not going to be another state's regulation come along with a different square footage that would affect their businesses. So irregardless of your small, large, medium, compliant, non-compliant, you're concerned about that patchwork of regulations. I would say that it's gone beyond the U.S. Our trading partners, Mexico and Canada, are concerned about Prop 12. It's disruptive. I mentioned earlier that we bring piglets down from Canada into the U.S. Minnesota and Iowa are a couple of states that give a lot of those piglets. Canadian producers are affected by Prop 12 then. And so, they're just struggling to see how that can affect them in the chaos. And I will state it again that within California, the USDA chief economist studies showed that pork prices rose 20%. So it's affecting us as producers. Our costs are going up, but it's affecting consumers also.
Thank you. And I think you make a great point about worrying that there's going to be continued fragmentation in state laws if Congress fails to act. And I think that's going to be critically important. I want to turn to Mr. Sander, if I may, for just a moment. I did note in your testimony that California's Proposition 12, which largely focused on the hog industry, is of huge concern to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and its members. And I wonder if you take a moment just to explain why this is so worrisome to you and other livestock producers.
Thank you for the question. It becomes concerning for us when a state that produces less than 1% of the domestic hog production in the U.S. starts dictating animal husbandry practices to the rest of the country. We believe in the cattle industry that I personally have spent the last 50 years, I'm not that old, but I started really young, learning how to do a good job of raising livestock and animal handling and animal husbandry practices. And we are literally the original stewards of the land and of the animals, and we believe that those decisions need to be made with us, not just one state.
Well, thank you very much. And Chairman, with that, I'll yield back balance of my time.